All right, so we're going to go into our first guest speaker, and I'm really, really excited to hear what she has to say. So for the past couple of years, BizTrends has had a vision for Africa, and we've envisaged a new connectivity, joining the dots between like-minded people across the continent. If you were part of BizCom Trends last year, you would have been wowed by Kantar's Ndeye Diagne, and she, her bio included all the right words, and I think that's got me very excited. Afro-centrist, Afro-enthusiast, Afro-disruptor, the narratives that we so resonate with, and make everything relevant in this day and age, specifically for the African continent. So Ndeye is a passionate Afro-optimist and awarded an African researcher with a degree in English literature and postgrad degree in marketing and communications from ISC Business School in Paris, but we're going to let her credentials speak for herself. So she is zooming in from Lagos this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the MD of Kantar Nigeria and Ghana, Ndeye Diagne. Over to you.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you very much. Greetings from Lagos. Greetings from Africa. Very glad to be with you today. Well, I start with an insight that's hopefully true for everyone. Positive comes often out of the most difficult experiences, and this is what the events in Nigeria in October last year have revealed us. In the midst of lots of anger, lots of injustice and violence, we've collectively discovered, pretty much in awe, the determination of the youth, of the Nigerian youth, to build a better country and their hunger for equality. And in other countries, in other African countries, under less traumatizing circumstances, hopefully, we've also seen young Africans actualizing similar momentum for change and an equal drive for better futures. So that inspires me to say the African youth is on fire, and the new North is the direction now set by the young people of Africa, and Gen Zers in particular. So these new narratives are the ones that they're actively writing now, narratives of faith, of self-belief, of change and hope, narratives of better and more for Africa. So hopefully we'll get insights today to help actualize the vision that we have for Africa from what we're learning from its vibrant youth. So it's no silent revolution, really. It's obvious, it's compelling, and it's very challenging in the positive sense of the word. It challenges us to try to be our better selves. And my question, the challenge that I would send to everyone today is, are you up for the challenge? Because whatever the business you operate in, if your goal is to grow sustainably in this high potential region, impacting positively the lives of the young people of Africa will be a prerequisite. And to do this, we'll need to understand really where they're heading. And today I want to share more of these energies, what's happening on the continent, and demonstrate how the youth in Africa is really Africa's most valuable currency. And I hope these insights will make a difference in your 2021 plans, because the reality is, with Africa being the youngest continent in the world in terms of its population makeup, there's really no strategy that can win sustainably without directly involving them or evolving around them, and that's common sense. So just starting with this statistic, where 60% of the entire continent is below 25, and by 2030, we're expecting young Africans to make up to 42% of the world's youth. And in all fairness, I must say this is no news. This information or this insight or this data point has been around for pretty much a decade. And you may want to challenge me at this stage and ask why I'm talking about this when the theme for today is really around New North and new narratives? Well, the reality is that everything has changed. Between the last decade and now, the amount of change that's taken place have dramatically impacted this group, their lifestyles, their aspirations, and their power. I'm not talking COVID here. I'm just talking internet, which is the factor that has changed everything. And with internet, nothing is no longer the same, honestly. We going from 1% of internet usage 10 years ago, we now have up to 65% of young people in Kenya who are daily using the internet. And tech enables, I've already discussed this multiple times, it's really at the heart of the continent's economic and human development. None of the movements that we see, none of the fights that we're seeing for a better Africa would have been possible without internet in the hands of the youth. It opens new avenues for social connections, idea sharing, opportunities, and ultimately an increased self-belief. And that's what I'm going to talk about. They see the world really through a different prism. And this is primarily the reason why the statistic that I shared earlier has a totally different meaning, a new meaning, because it implies now new possibilities, new narratives to write, and a new north. And so what's new? I'm going to get into what's new from the standpoint of this target group, connected, impassioned, and impatient as well. The African youth are really defining a new zeitgeist, a new spirit of our times, one of possibility, one of more, one of better. And be it political or social or artistic, it's really about new African possibilities that are made real. And it's a disruption from previous cliches. I like words, and I would say the usual epithets that we would use for Africa have just dramatically changed. Dark is replaced by bright, from dark continent to real bright continent. And that's exactly what the youth want to build. And the spirit of the age really, for me, is shaped by the African youth. And it's more of a materialization of Africa positive narratives. It's all underpinned by a triple sense of pride, of faith, of self-belief that culminates into this desire to really offer the world the best that the continent can offer. And I think that Africa Matters is really the zeitgeist of the 21st century, and defined by a generation that's fighting for the future that they want, a future where Africa is, Africa exists, Africa counts, and Africa inspires. In one word, Africa Matters. So we will see and continue to see astounding manifestations of this in 2021 and beyond. You take someone like Ziggy Faye, the young man in the middle, a young man from West Africa, influencer, content creator, that's making us dream about really the amazing richness of Africa, from and moving the beautiful and breathtaking landscape for which Africa is known for, from a West African perspective, no longer the well-known and gorgeous South and East of Africa, but also West Africa. You think of Emma Theophilus, climate activist. She's a magnificent embodiment of what this generation is capable of. She's only 23 and she's Africa's youngest appointed minister from Namibia. Vanessa Nakate on the right-hand side, she shook international media for excluding her from the Davos coverage alongside her peer activists, among which Greta Thunberg, I think. And we're repairing the deed here, focusing and excluding all others from the picture and focusing on her here. But that's really Gen Z or African youth for you. They are here and there, they're grounded, open to the world, inspired by the world, and committed to offer the world their new north. And we've seen recent examples and recent movements around in Uganda election, which is a beautiful illustration as well. It has gained international attention as the youth stood behind a 38-year-old musician candidate against the 75-year-old long-standing president. And I think the best title was really the Washington Post titling simply something like Uganda's election will be decided by its young people, and that's the spirit of the youth in Africa. So who is this decisive generation? What are they? Why are they doing what they're doing? Three core traits: obviously, a true sense of purpose that I'll hopefully show in a movie in a few seconds. Attention towards freedom, a desire for better leadership, and they're citizens of the world, really open and grounded. And I'm going to show you an 80-second movie that tells and speaks to their values and aspirations. So to see the real opportunity, I think it's essential to balance ambition with reality, aspirations with existing challenges. And this made me think of a poem, and the masterpiece poem by David Rubadiri, An African Thunderstorm, which balances magnificently the beauty of thunderstorms in Africa with the damage that they can actually lead to. And equally, Africa's youth faces massive challenges, which, if not addressed, may also be a time bomb, from political systems that are not yet ready for the equality that they are looking for or fighting for, to unemployment, difficult access to education, health. And that's really leading to young people, waves of young people who are embarking on perilous journeys in fishing canoes and risking their lives actually to reach Europe. And there's been an astounding surge of such waves of migrants by the end of 2020. In particular, COVID doings or COVID impact. And with such a large population of young people, I believe supportive policies and programs on inclusive youth development are going to be critical more than ever. And that's why initiatives from West Africa like Social Change Factory, with this extremely powerful video clip that I cannot show in full, but really powerful in content and in meaning, are so important. It's coming with empowering taglines that translate really to the idea that nothing is lost. Your effort will not be lost. Hold here, I hold here in terms of partnership, and all under the common hashtag Amulbaye, which means literally, we won't give up. There's no giving up. So it's absolutely powerful empowerment campaigns, and they're going to be more and more critical. And in that context, this is what we see as energies, as trends that are going to set definitely a new north. One, hashtag YouTube, it's coming from the fact that the positive results that are coming from actions taken by the youth in some parts of the continent will continue to have a positive ripple effect on other young Africans, and inspiring them to do same and to do more. It's really a positive peer pressure, if you want to call it that way, or an action inspiring peer pressure. So, and the other dimension of it is you too can do it, and it's going to be a powerful response from institutions, organizations, NGOs, and brands as well, that understand the power and the potential of this target group, and that commit to help them unleash it. So in 2021 and beyond, we'll continue to see, and we hope to see more of those fantastic youth empowerment initiatives, fabulous invitations from brands to co-create, invitations that are designed to really help unlock the best that this exciting generation has to offer. So the question is, how will your brands or your businesses bring this to life? And number two, well, Amanda Gorman at the Biden inauguration is certainly not African, but her prowess, I believe, will inspire a lot of the youth in the continent to be more visible, to dare to be. And I believe her closing words will really resonate sustainably and long with the African youth. And from this standpoint, I think we will see massive waves of entrepreneurship across all sectors from Africa in arts, music, fashion, and also digital. And in countries like Nigeria, where the entrepreneurial mindset is already so entrenched, I can remember that up to 80% of Nigerians were actually keen to start a business, or more keen to start a business following COVID. So we will really see more of these and more geniuses coming out of Africa. And this is what I call Afro-wiz. And African entrepreneurship will make a global impact. Winning brands are really those that can create the partnerships and enable the synergies and help them sustain and grow and invite them to co-create and be part of the journey. And last one, last trend, it's coming from the fact that purpose is now everything. We've entered the Y era. You were talking about the metaverse economy, and I'm actually talking also about the Y economy, because what particularly COVID has pushed brands and society to think about is to show more of what they're standing for, and there will be this push really for brands to stand up for something and to be the change that the youth wants to see in Africa. So welcome to the Y economy. And if getting away without a clear why has been possible in the past, well, I believe those days are gone. There's limited chance for big brands to really survive longer without a strong stand on issues that are close to consumers' hearts, and in particular to young consumers' hearts. And brands have always had an important role to play in society, to advance society. And in a post-COVID world where everything is constantly changing, with a generation that's so hungry for change and so impatient, brands will need to model the change and be the change. And as a poet said, in the winds of change, we find our greatest direction. And the good news is that there's now loads of evidence that, about a correlation between business success and a more purpose-led approach. Strong purpose drive value, brand value, and brands have always had a role to play to build a better society. And this is truer than ever in the context we've found ourselves. So in 2021 and beyond, well, businesses will have to ask themselves a few core questions. What do we stand for? What are we going to do in those lines? And more than the questions, really, what will matter is the answers. And the challenge will be the execution of those answers in authentic ways. And in all fairness, that will continue to be a big challenge for brands in a context where divergence is a norm. And that's why beautiful minds in advertising will have to work to come up with authentic ways to execute what they stand for. And that is it, really. Divergence being the norm rather than convergence, purpose a must, a youth on fire, and the spirit of the age really being defined on those lines. It's a bit head spinning, all of that. Complex continent in complex times, but it's so fantastically rewarding when you got it right. And personally, I'm super excited to be living in this time of the continent story with a generation that's really changing the course of history. And my final words would just be that the future belongs to brands that understand these new energies now. And most importantly, those that build the winning partnerships, the winning alliances and connections with this high potential population to help them unleash their power. So it's all about connection. And the question is, are you ready to connect?
Thank you so much, Ndeye. Well, for me personally, you are preaching to the choir. I've been a passionate proponent and cheerleader for Gen Z, and especially, as you pointed out, on the continent. We've got just time for one quick question. Kwazi, I see your question as well as Jane, but I'm going to actually just push those to other speakers because they are far more suited to answer those questions for you. So we haven't missed your questions, but I want to just ask Ndeye, the one from Tria, that's just asking, what are your thoughts on Africa's youth leading the decolonial project on the continent and what this means for how brands and businesses do business? Because vigilante consumers are a big trend. So what do you think on that?
Well, it's we'll have to continue to face uncomfortable times and position, and I believe they are really the best to partner with or to support or to lead initiatives like that in terms of well, their passion and the fact that really they are not the generation before. Really, they are free, let's say, from colonialism, and from that standpoint, able to come up with fresh ideas, less of the hurt to lead. Great,
thank you so much, and thank you for that. That was a really touch point in terms of what is happening, and as I said, the Gen Z continent, that is Africa. I'll sound like a beauty queen, but the future are our children, and the kids will be all right. So thank you, Ndeye. Thank you. Have a lovely